Closed captioning for The Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, we revisit last year's Chili Open, and I prepare a cocktail and appetizer with my beloved blood oranges. But first, I interview Pat Palumbo, drummer for Left End, about his new book, Tenacity. I am here with Patsy Palumbo, drummer from Left End. Tenacity, that's the name of the book that he published about the band, the whole history, really, of rock, basically, in the Mahoning Valley. And I was thinking, Pat, when I was reading this, I said, this could be like a yearbook for Youngstown Rock and Roll High, or the Who's Who. When I'm going through this, the names, how do you have such a good memory of dates and times and all the people involved?
Well, good question. A lot of people have asked me that. Actually, I was always an impressionable person. And I think I'm a good listener. So I heard the things that were happening, I watched the things that were happening, and they always had an impression on me. And frankly, I was a storyteller. Mm-hmm. So I would tell the stories that are in the book, I've told again and again. And frankly, that's why I wrote the book, because people finally said, you know, you should write a book. You have all these great stories and memories of the Left End days and what it was like in music in the Valley and in the tri-state area for about 35 years. Why don't you put that all in them? So I did.
I imagine when you started, you were more in a, more of a top 40 band, right? When you first began.
Well, yeah, when you first start out, you play the popular songs that are on the radio.
Doing the covers,
so as to get people to come and listen to you. And then gradually, with Left End, we started writing originals. And it got to a point where you could do a few originals and more. Then we would actually do concerts that were all original music. You got to that point.
Sunshine girl, you know I love you, babe. Sunshine girl, you know I love you, babe.
What got you into the drums?
Well, I tell the story in the book that when I was a young boy, our neighbor who lived next door to me on the south side of Youngstown was a drummer in a band, and they were actually back in the days of the Bill Haley Comet and the Comets stuff, and they were doing songs like Rock Around the Clock and that, and I would be 4 years old sitting on the basement steps watching these guys, and the drummer was Tom Hoddes, my neighbor, and I always looked up to him as like an older brother, and I'd always say, I want to play the drums like Tom, So Tom unfortunately passed away at a young age, and his parents gave his drum set to my parents. So I started banging on these drums and started taking lessons, and that's how I got into it. And
you made the transition from Cherry Pop to Left End, and then it really took flight.
Yes.
With our man.
With Dennis
T. Menace.
Yes, that's correct.
And God rest his soul, but the lyrics, I mean, he immediately picked up on everything.
People saw the persona he was on the stage, which was, of course, legendary.
Yes, larger than life.
Not only as a phenomenal singer, I would compare him to any of the great rock singers of his time, but also his antics on stage, his mannerisms on stage. He just commanded the stage.
I'd always heard that after you got your contract with Polydor, that Casablanca, who had signed Kiss, had kind of muscled Polydor to squelch you guys because they had the makeup band. But you say that's not true.
No, so many said they saw you in Cashbox and they stole that from you. But I don't think that's true, because if you go back and chronicle it, you'll see that Kiss was actually wearing makeup before we were signed with Polydor, so they were into it as well, about the same time.
I just like to stir up stuff.
But
I like a little
story. A friend of ours ran into Ace Frehley,
Okay.
and asked him that. He said, Ace, he said, I got to ask you something. When KISS started out, is it true you guys stole your makeup from Left End in Youngstown, Ohio? And he said, I don't remember. He said, but if we did, it probably was the best theft anybody could make.
Yeah. When things started falling apart because of the management at Polydor, I mean, that had to just be a gut punch.
Well, it was devastating because they had plotted a European tour for us. We were known around the United States and much of North America as the monster that ate Cleveland. They determined they were going to send us to Europe. They said, we want you guys to go in Europe and break in Europe because you will be the monster that devoured Europe. Then you're going to come back here. And all that was planned out, but the Europe thing never happened. But the people that were supporting us at the record company left the record company because of a merger they had with another company. Mm-hmm. So our people, so to speak, our contacts weren't even at the office anymore. So we would call and say, we want to talk to Peter Siegel, or we want to talk to Elaine Goldstein, or we want to talk to this person. They'd go, well, they're not available right now. Then finally,
so you don't even know?
Yeah, we don't even know. They're in New York, we're here in Y-Town. And then it finally came out. They've all jumped ship. Your people are not here anymore. We're trying to replace them.
Never know what's in front, my eyes can't see.
What was one of your favorite shows?
Probably for me, when we played with the Funkadelic Parliament in Detroit at Cobo Arena, we actually headlined a concert, and our warm-up band was the Funkadelic Parliament.
Can you believe
with George
that?
Clinton.
And what, you lent him the cymbals?
Oh yeah, I lent the drummer. He kind of propositioned me. Can I borrow those flashy cymbals? And I went, sure, go ahead. Playing with the Eagles.
And Spring Fling.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a big highlight.
That was such an every year that was such a big thing for us.
Yes. Left End did 13 straight years
at
God. Spring Thing, and then the 13th year, of course, was when the park had burned down.
Oh my gosh, that was such a sad thing. Do you miss it?
I miss it a lot, and that's why when I had the opportunity to play with Leanne Binder and Generation Rock.
And she is so talented.
Yeah, she's just awesome. She's incredible. It was an honor working with Leanne and Roy Guerreri from Left End.
I know, and Roy was also in Generation Rock.
Yeah, and so that was incredible to come back again and play again with Roy and do the thing again. But
so you're still gonna play?
I jam every day. I got this little electronic drum set, Casey, in our living room. Literally, my wife allows me to do this, and I'm banging all the time. And the dogs think I'm still good. Our dogs go, "You still got it, man. You still got it, you old dude."
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bernard. I've been giving the people of our valley free advice for over 30 years, and my message has never changed. If you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, don't try to handle it yourself. Call a lawyer. A lawyer will be your representative, dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the red tape that you may face. Hiring a lawyer doesn't mean you'll end up in court, and remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases.
That's good advice. Need a lawyer? Learn more at elizabethbernardlaw.com.
Family-owned Mayflower Woolham Insurance Group is your full-service independent agency. Our family works with a variety of insurance companies, so you have the best choices for your insurance needs. Let us find the right product at the right price. Personal lines, business, farm, commercial insurance, life insurance. Trust locally owned Mayflower Woolham. You focus on what's important.
We'll take care of the details.
Mayflower Woolham, close by with 3 locations to serve you.
Rulli Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old Road Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
Join the Isle and Purple Cat family. Employment opportunities are available. Given is living. Join the Isle and Purple Cat family. Employment opportunities are available at $13 an hour. Given is living.
I am here with Rude the Dude from the Magic Tree Pub and Eatery. Whether you're partying holiday style in person or at home, you've got everybody covered.
Yes, we have them covered here. You know, we developed a really good catering menu, half pan, full pans, office parties, family parties, anything off-site that we can handle, but also to in-site. We still have our banquet room, which holds up to about 85 people for buffets, limited menus. Again, office parties, family parties, we can get you covered any way you like.
And you know what's really great? Rest assured, Magic Tree Pub and Eatery really takes the sanitation and the social distancing guidelines seriously, so you can trust them.
Oh yeah, so you know, we want to thank the community for the support over the last few months in the pandemic, and we're looking forward to a new year here.
It's gonna be a great year. Go to their website or Facebook for the complete menu. Happy holidays.
Selling engagement rings never gets old. It's love.
It's a huge on-taping because they're going to wear that ring probably forever, but if they're not going to wear it forever, they're going to pass it down to somebody.
Our rings will hold a lifetime, and we want to make sure it does. We stand by every single thing that we sell. I believe I can find the perfect ring. I really try to get them exactly what she would want.
And to just be a little part of that is really, it warms your heart inside.
Get real, get Kamara.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Well, I am happy to report that it is blood orange season once again. Right after Christmas, beginning in January through about March, you are going to start seeing a lot of blood oranges in the stores. And I love them. I juice them like crazy. I use them in recipes. I even freeze my blood orange juice, so I have it throughout the year. So I'm going to make 2 really easy recipes with blood oranges. One is a great appetizer. It is avocado toast with blood oranges on top. And then I'm going to make a cocktail. It is my blood orange arita. For this recipe, you'll need 1 baguette, 2 avocados, 1 shallot finely chopped, 1 cup of chopped cilantro, 2 blood oranges peeled and sections chopped, salt and pepper to taste. Well, I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees. So while it's heating up, what we're gonna do is get our baguette toast ready. So I don't want a lot of bread because it's not a sandwich. These are little appetizer sizes. So slice it on the diagonal about 1/4 inch thick. So all I'm gonna do is use this brush and just dab them with some olive oil, and then just take the salt and pepper each slice. So I'll finish this up, get these prepared. They're gonna go into the oven for 20 minutes. So the baguettes are in the oven toasting. Now I will get our topping ready. We'll take the avocado. Now remember, a lot of people, there's like a thing called like avocado hand, where, you know, people get hurt. Look how beautiful these are. Now I'm going to add these shallots and really make sure they're finely chopped. I put them in my mini chopper, and instead of garlic, this kind of gives a nice flavor to the avocado without being overpowering. I'm just gonna add a touch of olive oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to mash it. Now I have cut up 2 whole blood oranges. And each section, I tried to get as much as the pith off as I could, and then I just chopped them into small pieces. Now I add the cilantro, and you just stir this together. See, look how pretty and little these are. Perfectly toasted. Now you just take a little bit of the avocado, you put it on top, and then you sprinkle it with your blood orange mixture with the cilantro. Isn't that a nice little presentation? Isn't that a nice little bite? Okay. It's so good. You are going to love this. I love cocktails made with fresh juices, and blood orange is one of my favorites. As you can see, I was a little busy last night. I think I juiced like 2 bags. And then I think vodka or tequila works best. So I'm gonna call this my blood orange-arita. Now, arita really means it's tequila, but you could use vodka too. But I'm gonna use tequila. All right, so all you need, look at my fancy cocktail shaker my mother Jelaine got me at a garage sale. All right, so we are gonna need 2 ounces of tequila. So 2 ounces in, 2 ounces of the blood orange, 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice, and then 1 teaspoon. This is a great sweetener to use instead of simple syrup. No calories, natural, it is agave nectar. So about a teaspoon of that. Eek, that's it. That's all you need for this fabulous drink. So now I am going to shake it up. And just so I don't want it too heavy, I like to add a little bit of sparkling water on the very top. There we go. And then look at how pretty. You put a little slice of blood orange on top, and there you have it. Your blood orange-arita. Cheers. All these recipes are available on my website, caseymalonshow.com. You are absolutely going to love them. Cheers. And I've got 2 special guests in my kitchen today. I've got my mom and Jimmy LaPata, the neighbor extraordinaire who actually destroyed the house before the kitchen was built. Cheers, Jimmy. Cheers,
Here's
Mom.
to us, none better.
That's right. And remember, it's bad luck if you don't look at the person when you toast them.
And here's to
and if you don't take a
Casey's new kitchen.
I know, Jelaine, you were a little sad when I left
I
your
was
house.
a little sad. My kitchen keeps saying, "Where is Casey?" My refrigerator's a little empty. I do love this kitchen. It's a great kitchen, Jim.
Well, thanks.
Jim,
It wasn't all me, believe me.
I'll tell you, Jim was like, he was like our counselor through this process. And he was also the demo guy and also like our GC. He'd come over at night and we'd be like, here's what we're thinking now. Can you get this done? And then Ken and I would be like, he wanted all the walls out of the whole house practically. and then Jimmy's like, okay, I'm not a marriage counselor, I'm out of here. You 2 figure it out. It was quite an adventure, and I really do appreciate your help with that, because
anytime
you help us all out.
Only one time.
Oh, this is it?
Yes.
I called in my one-time
This is
favor. And I know he helps you too, Mommy.
Oh, he does. I had an incident the other day and
Jimmy was
called
right
Jimmy
over,
up.
man.
And the next day, his little munchkins were there to put up my garage door.
Well, I appreciate everything, and you're
Here's
always
to the new
welcome
kitchen.
in my kitchen, Jimmy.
And my new garage.
Come on in my kitchen anytime. You guys are welcome for food and drink. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
To own a business where your name's on the window can be pretty cool. That's my family. My name is Danny Katulo, and I'm the owner of Katulo Primates. My grandfather started the business in 1962. I was able to take our old-style butcher shop and bring it out to the new age using e-commerce to get our products to more customers. When we started shipping, there was not a ton of information out there. That's where we really worked with FedEx so they could be able to help us with our perishable shipping. We were taking on new purchases that we never had to make before. Boxes, coolers, ice packs, anything that was involved around shipping. So we can no longer do this with the cash that we had on hand. So because of the Plum Card from American Express and all of its benefits, it was a natural fit to help grow our business. And when someone calls and lets you know that you made their dinner, that's satisfaction that you can't get anywhere else.
Here at Creekside Fitness and Health Center, we are focused on you, from cardio and strength equipment to classes and personal training. The health of our members and staff has always been our top priority. Limiting class sizes, social distancing, and frequent cleanings are just a few ways we are making Creekside a safer environment for all. Membership and personal training specials are happening now, so come experience life on the fit side at Creekside, your neighborhood gym.
R&S Paint is a locally owned paint store and not a paint department. Inspiration comes easy when choosing exciting Benjamin Moore colors and finish. Over 3,400 vibrant and durable colors are yours at R&S Paint.
My basement was dreadful. Cracked concrete, chipped tiles, it was my dumping ground. Carpet, vinyl, wood don't last. Now I have Pebblestone, the best basement floor covering, made with natural stone and the strongest man-made binder. Pebblestone evened out my floor. Easy to clean, resists moisture, and withstands flooding. You will love your basement. Call locally owned Pebblestone, the best flooring system. It's not just any stone, it's Pebblestone.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
Well, today is the Chili Open, and this is the first time that I can remember that we had this great snow.
Yeah.
Where you could actually see the wacky colored balls. And I mean, this was the whole point of it. Dan Dahl is one of the chairs, and you know, I know there's been a revival with the Chili Open. How did you bring people back to, you know, really coming out and supporting this event again?
Well, in its origin, it was such a success, and then it kind of fell by the wayside over the years, and we had incorporated some different events into it, and we really had a push in the club to say we need to bring this back and get the most out of it, because it is such an unusual and great event for the Valley. So we teamed up with YTV this year to get a good push along with the Chili Plunge, which we added this year as well. So.
Yeah, now what is that about? Is it going to be like the polar bear plunge?
It is. Instead of going out and coming back, you're actually going to cross. So we have one of the ponds here at Bedford that we broke the ice all up, and it ranges anywhere from 2 to about 5.5 feet deep. So depending on how wet you want to get, but yeah, they're going to start on one side and they're able to cross the pond.
Is there an
and go to the
incentive?
other.
What is, like, if you do this? Is there a reward?
Well, depending on how much you raise. So there was a couple different levels of sponsorship where somebody could have, just the plunge was $50. And then if you raised over $125, you kind of go out and get sponsors for it. You actually get the Chili Open branded hat for that. So
now Jim Klepper has been involved with Poland Rotary for quite a while. First president in '84.
That's right.
And you started this event, the Chili Open,
I didn't, but our group
did.
Right, and it kind of passed all around.
Where did the idea come from, golfing in the middle of the winter?
It came from the Akron area. A group started on a frozen lake over there. A guy by the name of Nelson Gustafson, who passed away last year.
I know Nels. He was on my parade committee. Exactly. I love Nels, yes.
Exactly. And he was the one that went over and saw it and told us about it, and that's how it got going.
And you know, this has really started picking up momentum again.
Again, yeah, we had some sparse years, but it's starting to do well. We're going to have a polar plunge here today.
Are you going to take part?
No.
I mean, that's insane.
I've retired my Speedo.
Now, Todd Larson is out here with his group of buddies, and this is your first time doing the Chili Open. Why did you guys think this was a good idea?
We thought the weather was good.
It has been pretty warm.
Yeah, but you know, we're just here to support charity and have a little fun.
And are you a golfer?
Yes.
So I don't you think this is going to kind of impede your
game?
Your game?
Yeah, absolutely.
And are there prizes for golfing?
Yes.
Like, what do you guys get? Like, if you get the lowest score, what do you get?
I'm not sure
Prize.
what the prizes are. Yeah.
We all need that, don't we? Okay, now the two courses are Arctic and Tundra. And you guys are going to take, which course are we on?
We're going to take the Tundra.
Tundra course. All right, can I watch you guys tee off?
Absolutely.
And guess what?
I would stand back, though.
Todd might do the polar plunge at noon.
At noon?
That's
today?
Today.
Oh, my.
What is that, a 2-iron? a pitching wedge. Uh-oh, that little left.
I see it.
Pretty good. I don't know. The other one was really shaking it pretty good.
Oh, look at there.
Nice.
You got a bounce.
Tim Crow is one of the Rotarians, and you're on the committee.
Yep.
And you told me that you're going to take the polar plunge.
I'm jumping in the icy water today. That's it.
I think
it's my
that's
first time.
insane. Now, are you
No,
going to
it
be
probably
fully
is.
clothed?
No, we're gonna get into a swimsuit and t-shirt and some shoes because it's kind of mucky at the bottom. But yeah.
So you said that you were on Facebook and you raised over $1,000.
Yeah, we
for
raised
you to
about
take the plunge.
$1,000 for the plunge. We got about 5 or 6 Rotarians jumping in. Good start and a lot of fun, a lot of food. And I'll probably go out and swat a ball and probably lose it.
I think though the snow is perfect because that's really what this is based on.
Well, you know, it's a crazy thought, golf in the snow, but that's the point of it. It's about coming out and having fun, and the golf is something to do while you're having fun, having laughs and drinks and then jump in a lake.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.